to Welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and it's time for you that I give you guys a bookish update. So I am reading Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco. I really enjoyed The Name of the Rose. So there were other books by Eco that I was interested in, but this is the only one I saw at Gibbons, so I bought it, and I like it. It has a lot of interesting concepts and ideas, and the plot itself sounds intriguing, but here's the thing though. Like, first of all, there's a bunch of chapters that are basically one of our main characters, Casaubon, who starts out the book as a student, but we watch him as he gets older. Like, time passes throughout the story. He gives you a history lesson, pages of history lessons on the Knights Templars and a few other historical figures who I don't know how to pronounce them. Rosicrucians or Rosicrucians. This other famous group of people, religious order or something. I just don't know anything about them. I do, obviously I did read that book, The Crusades, where that talked about the Templars, and I don't know if I remember mentioned that other group or not, but I mean, on the one hand, it is interesting, and I'm glad I know, I'm able to, and, I'm aware of the knowledge. I've already read a nonfiction book on that information. But he's basically, Casaubon is talking to these two other guys and explaining to them about the Templars and everything and their history and the legends of them and all that. And, but it's a lot. And unless you're just really, really passionate about that subject, it's a lot of information, and it's kind of tedious, and it's like, get to the more exciting parts, please. And I'm really trying to figure, have they been, as, we go through the story, are they feeding this information into this computer system, as the back description says? Are we watching that progress, and it's just not directly telling us that they're doing that? I'm very confused. Like, I don't get, unless it's not happening and we just haven't got to that point yet. It's, like I said, it's a very slow going book. And another thing I also realized, I'm just not attached to these characters. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with these characters. They're not boring or anything. They're, not entirely boring, like, but, and I'm sure there are people that can relate to them. But it's just, I don't feel any strong connection with them, any strong attachment to them. So, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm still intrigued by the story and the premise and everything and these ideas, and what they're doing what the back description says they're doing is really interesting. So I am going to keep going with it. I'm just going to take a break for now and come back to it. I normally don't do that, but in this case I'm going to. Now I do appreciate that the chapters are really short, so that really helps me get through it, read the book faster, or at least it feels like I've read a good chunk of the book. I'm not even really at the halfway point, but still, that does help. But yeah, the concepts are really cool. The idea of creating this computer game with this legend and everything. Like I said, I love watching the History Channel and all those documentaries and everything. I think is really cool, and really fun to watch. And like I said, I do appreciate that I've read a nonfiction on the Templars, so I know what they're talking about. I have some idea of what they're talking about. So there's that. So like I said, I'm just gonna take a break from this one for now. I also am reading Anne Rice's The Witching Hour. I'm coming back to this book today in the next couple days. I don't expect to finish this by the end of the month. It's a chunkster. But I'm so glad that I didn't stop in the middle of the chapter. I made sure to stop at the beginning of the next chapter, because I hate it when I stop in the middle of a chapter, because then I gotta figure out what's going on in the chapter, unless I've read the book already once and I'm doing a reread. And it's just, I don't like having to figure out, okay, what happened recently, what just happened. But I do remember this book very well because I've spent a lot of time with this book. But anyway, like, the last thing I remember is that Michael and Rowan have crossed paths. They finally met and they finally talked, and they have this kind of love at first sight connection going on. They sleep together, and it's just an instant love connection between the two of them, which I'm willing to suspend disbelief in this case. And like, they both have talked to each other about each other's secrets and everything, and talking like about each other's, their past and everything, and their history, and Michael, but of course Michael feels he's being pulled back to New Orleans, and that Aaron Leitner wants to talk to him and wants him to meet and come to their secret society, the Talamasca. And I think, like, Aaron Leitner wants to tell him, because he has all this information on the Mayfairs, her Rowan's family, and I think he wants to prepare him for what he's getting into and to understand this woman and where she comes from. And that's what I've read so far. Like, I did really like all the history. I remember, because I did remember getting a halfway point where I read all the history, where I got to the chapter where Michael's reading all the history, and he's looking back onto the past and this family and their connection with this shadowy figure, this devil-like figure who's always following them and always haunting the women of this family, and talking about the emerald necklace, how each member that that comes into contact with this shadowy figure, this devil, that he gives them the emerald necklace, and I think that's what connects them to him and allows him to have a hold over them. That's my theory about that emerald necklace. And I so the difference with this one is these are both slow building, but this is definitely a lot longer than Foucault's Pendulum, but it's more engaging for me personally. Like, learning about the Mayfair family, getting all their background, because a lot is going on. Like, while this one is Foucault's Pendulum, it feels like they're just explaining things, explaining the history, and we're actually seeing history happen, even though, he's just reading this, where the way it's written, it feels like it's playing out in front of you. And there is a TV show that started last year. I didn't get to it. I meant to get to it. I meant to start watching it. But then it didn't happen. And but luckily I did see that it was on Netflix, along with the show based on her other Interview the Vampire series, her Vampire Chronicles series. Which I don't know how they're gonna do that. Like, is Interview with are they gonna do the other books? Are they gonna make the show, or are each of the other books gonna encompass the stories with all the other characters, like find a way to include those, like with a flashback or something, like instead of like merging the books all together into one story, into one series? I wonder if that's how they're going to do that. But which I know that Terry's going to be very happy about that. I was like, see, I don't have the AMC Plus, because there's only like 3 shows on AMC that I'm interested in watching. One of them's no longer on the air, I don't think. I think it already ended, and then the other 2 are the 2 shows based on Anne Rice's work. And now those are on Netflix. So that's what I was kind of waiting for, that they would show up on other streaming networks, so that I can watch them, because it wouldn't be enough for me to pay for AMC just for a few shows, because I don't know if anything else is going to be on AMC that I'm going to want to watch. So yeah, I'm going to read a little bit of that today, try to read some more of that. It will depend on how long chapter 10 is. And then we have, so this next one is more of a book that I'm, because it's either like 30 books in 30 days in September, and then there's also, September is also Shorty September. So I thought I would go ahead and finally read this book, Gilmore Girls at Home and Stars Hollow, which is kind of a picture book kids friendly, family friendly version of Gilmore Girls, because I would say the show is kind of PG, where it has some content that's might not necessarily be, it's not, I mean, granted, it's not that bad, but the show itself might have some stuff that isn't necessarily like, kids, not kid friendly, not like, you still gotta be cautious about if watching with your kids, or you might have to explain some things to your kids. But this is a picture book version of the show, focused on the lives of Lorelai and Rory in their home, and their relationship with the people in Stars Hollow, and then Rory's grandparents. And the illustrations are really fun, and I think I've seen other ones of these as well. And also, I noticed that there's also, I've like purchased over the years when kid book versions of a lot of classics, so that my nephews and niece can read those, so they have some taste of those classics before they actually read the novel, before they're old enough to read the novels. And it'll be kind of nice for one day for them to remember that, oh, my aunt got me those, or got me a kid version of that. I remember the story. But I think there are other versions of other TV shows that are like this. Like, I think there's The Office, the American version of The Office they have it in this way, and I think I've seen other ones. I don't know, I wonder if they could do a one for Friends, too. I could see that. Someone, I don't know if there is one, but they could do one for the show Friends as well. I think that'd be really fun. But yeah, I like the artwork in this. I see the but I thought it'd be fun to read this for September. And then also I might look at my I also have the a book of at least some of Dickens's novels in an easy read kids version as well, and then like a picture book version, and then we also have and then of course I have like a bind up of Oscar Wilde's work, and as well as PG Woodhouse one, which I think those are novellas, shorter novels, so I could probably read those. But I don't know. We will see. Because I'm trying to, I'm still can't narrow it down what I'm going to read this month. I've been looking at all my books and trying to decide which ones I want to narrow it down, because I'm trying to do, since October, I'm still want to continue to participate in October, so I'm using September as my main spooky month. Because obviously I can't do it in November, because once November's here, it's close to winter, and winter's right around the corner, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I don't necessarily want to read spooky books. Unless it's a spooky Christmas book, like Nosferatu, even though that one takes place mostly in the summer, there is like a Christmassy reference in that one, like the bad guy, the monster, is taking everyone to Christmas land. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one today. And like I said, I might look at my Dickens as well this month. But we shall see. So, like I said, today I'm gonna read a little bit of The Witching Hour, make some progress on that. And this as well. And I'm probably gonna set aside because I think it's gonna be a really nice day, really beautiful day, good temperatures. And actually, I love when in the morning it actually feels chilly in the morning, where I feel like the shorts and the tank that I'm wearing for, my walking clothes, I actually felt a little chilly until I started moving. So I love that because then it makes you think that autumn is coming for real. But it's still, again, it's still, where I live, it gets warm. It's still warm all the way through November, which is, again, really annoying. But anyway, so that is my update right now. As always, would love to know what you are currently reading right now. What is your September, how's your September looking so far? As far as reading goes. Are you going to read spooky books? Or do you read whimsical books this time of year, that have a supernatural feel to them? I would love to know. I hope your autumn is going well. And I hope if you're a student, I hope you're doing well. As you're doing well at school, and it's not too hard or too boring for you being back in school. Unless you're like me and actually didn't mind school so much. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe. If you hadn't already, click the bell notification down below if you want to be notified about my videos when I'm uploading. And I hope you are all doing great. And I will talk to y'all later. Alright, bye!